We are doing our presentation on Thomas House Temporary Shelter, and I just wanted to go ahead and introduce, this is Christina, this is Tram, and this is Nadia, and that's Cindy. That's the executive director from the Thomas House Temporary Shelter. And so we're really pleased to have her here. And we're going to go ahead and talk about our campaign and helping promote their 25th anniversary with the event, Make Our House a Home. Just a little background on Thomas House Temporary Shelter. It's located in Garden Grove, and it is basically, it started with one apartment, which has now expanded into multiple apartments, into 2 complex buildings. It was made in 1986, was when it was founded and created, and through that they've expanded, accommodated a lot of clients, and they basically are able to help people in financial crises and financial needs get back on their feet and restabilize themselves for their future. Residents are able to come in and save a majority of their income. That way they are able to set aside the money, and then within 6 to 9 months is the usual turnover rate. They're able to go out and purchase their own home and become house or homeowners and restabilize themselves financially.
Just like Jackie said.
And this is Cham, and she's going to go ahead and talk about the mission.
Just like Jackie explained in their background, their mission states to provide a safe, supportive environment and resources necessary for homeless families with children to remain together while empowering them to become independent and self-sufficient. The theoretical framework is human resource. It compiles of pretty much the organization and the families, and without these 2 components, it won't beat this framework, and also it would fall apart and fail. Next we have Christina talking about the SWOT.
Okay, so I'll first discuss the strengths of the Thomas House Temporary Shelter. One great thing they have is a great resident commitment. The people who are staying there really are committed to saving their money and becoming their own homeowners and moving up because they are struggling to begin with, as well as different events they put on at the temporary shelter, such as birthdays every month for the children, just to make it more active and fun, for them being there, have them participate in things. Also a dedicated staff. There are many different counseling sessions they have, such as for, they have childcare, counseling for employment, different things just to really show the support system they have for everyone who's there. Also, there is a really large turnover rate, as Jackie was explaining earlier. Many of the families do stay there for 6 to 9 months and are able to go back on their own feet. So that's a great strength that they have in the temporary shelter. And also grants. Thomas House is really great at receiving many grants and continuously able to help families more and more. They've already expanded from 1 building to 2 and really, hope to even expand even more. Some of the weaknesses, although they did expand to 2 buildings, they're always willing to help more families, so they're trying to open up to another building. So right now it's a little bit of a small complex, so that's definitely a weakness. A shortage of volunteers. They do have a staff that's there to support them, but volunteers are always needed to help with the children, the activities, the family, all kinds of stuff that can go on. Also organization of the structure. Because there's the lack of volunteers or not as many to help out, it can be a little unorganized with the structure on how things are supposed to go and work. And also the confidentiality of the organization's address. They do have to keep it a secret. Not everyone can know because a lot of these families came from abused relationships and they don't want people to know where they're at. So that can be a weakness because not as many people can visit or know where to donate. Some of the opportunities is definitely new donors. They're continuously getting grants, but always new people. It's a great way to expand and get them out there, as well as different events, such as this open house that we're putting on. It's always great to have more people and different people look at Thomas House. And online presence, just like anything nowadays, social media is very big, or websites are very important. It just brings a bigger access to everyone, so it's definitely something that Thomas House would love to have. More grants as well as media coverage. It's always important just to expand that for the company so more people can see it, more people can donate and help. Some of the threats are other nonprofit organizations, such as FIES, which is one of the groups that is participating in our class. Other nonprofit organizations, there are 28,000 within the Orange County area, so that's obviously very difficult just on itself to get donations for people to donate to this specific Thomas House shelter. lacking funds due to the economy around this time where people are less likely to donate because they just don't have the money, they're trying to save for themselves. So that makes it a little bit more difficult for them to help someone else out. Okay, and then Jackie's gonna go ahead and talk about the objective.
And our objective for this campaign and event is basically to assist them in promoting, but more obtaining marketing materials and invitations and handouts for the actual event. We made two different types of diagrams. One would be a donor chart, which is going to be used after the event, so the children will be able to fill in bricks and add it onto a chart, which is going to accumulatively result in a house, and the bricks will represent different donations by different donors.
Our main audience, like Jackie was saying, does consist of, more donors. Like we said, we do get the grants, we do have donations now, but it's always great to expand. It's always great to get the more donations out and to expand to the different people. It doesn't have to be within the Orange County area. There could be similar places or similar foundations that want to help us out, that have the same idea, that have the same drive to help people. So anything like that is just, a great target, either what our target audience would be. As well as Jackie was saying, a younger audience. When you start with a younger audience, you can definitely build that loyalty and grow with them as they grow, and they can also carry on with anyone they know, any of their children. Just something like that, a great foundation can help us grow and create that audience. All right, and Nadia will go ahead and talk about our strategy.
Alrighty, our strategy is to build upon the pre-existing strengths of Thomas House Shelter. This would include the logo for Thomas House, because we are making concepts and ideas for the invitation and the Make a House a Home chart. And we would also use past invitation designs. And then next we'll be talking about our tactics. Our tactic is to communicate with the client and provide materials for our client, and also to implement implement a plan for the future. And then next, our tools. The tools between Practical Advantage and our client include email, phone, and setting up meetings to talk about our concepts and ideas before we take the next step forward. And then between Practical Advantage and the donors, we implemented concepts for the invitation and the Make a House a Home chart. And these we designed through Adobe Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator. And next, Christina will talk about our timeline.
Okay, so with our timeline, at the beginning of March, we did meet with Cindy and trying to discuss what she wanted us to do, what type of campaign she wanted us to help out with. Mainly was the Make a House a Home, the open house. And we started in March, mainly was designing invitations, a donation chart, and a Make a House a Home chart. That was our first goal, was just to make up some designs. From March going into April, we provided the designs to her, made some tweaks to it, and just sent it to her graphic designer to see what we can do, what tweaks we need to make. By the end of April, we were able to complete the design of the Make a House a Home chart, as well as send it to the design department and have it printed out. And then by May, we were able to receive the layout of the Make a House a Home chart, and we also created the appliances that were going to be placed on the chart that people could donate to, that people can choose to donate. And then we also met with Cindy just to make final revisions before the actual open house event on May 24th. This is just discussed in a little bit more detail on how we, it's basically in a graph version from the previous slide, just to show what we took, the different steps we did, and what we had to take to get everything finished. Right, and then we'll go ahead and have Tram talk about the actual campaign materials.
So for our campaign materials, we only had to provide 3 things, which are invitations, a Make a House a Home chart, and a donation chart. And first I'll be talking about our invitations. Our concept was to have an invitation that looks similar to a home, and to also have a perforated section down at the bottom where everyone can RSVP and send back. And within the invitation, you could also provide an envelope with a stamp so that you can mail back the small portion. And so this was our concept for Cindy and Thomas House. What they came up with was much better than what we had. It's a trifold. And it's a trifold. It says, "Celebrate our next 25 years on the first fold, and as you open it, it has the full invite, similar with keeping the idea of the home inside in contact, and it still says Thomas House Temporary Shelter invites you to join us to celebrate our next 25 years, along with the rest of the information on here, and also a portion down at the bottom that is perforated, and you can still send us in with your envelope and a stamp intact. And next I'll be introducing Nadia, who will be talking about the Make a House a Home chart, which she needs to grab.
For the Make a House a Home chart, basically it's for the open house happening on May 24th, and the campaign is to make a house a home. Essentially, donors or guests are invited to the Thomas House Shelter to not only meet the Thomas House organization, but the families of Thomas House. And during this time, there are 19 complexes in the 19 apartments in the complex, one of which will be turned into a model home. Guests will feature or tour the apartment and see how it feels like a home. It'll be fully furnished. So we designed this chart to be at the door of every other apartment. We split it up into 4 sections: bathroom, bedroom, living room, and kitchen. And we chose about 4 or 5 items that someone could choose to donate. Once someone decides on what they would like to donate, they'll peel off the item, Velcroed, fill out proper documentation, and slip both the item and the documentation in an envelope, which will go into a mailbox. And then they'll pick up a magnet that thanks them for making a house a home. And we also have an option for people that decide to, or donors that decide to adopt a whole apartment. They get a specialized sticky that also doubles into a magnet. And this brands Thomas House's image further, because they'll take it home and put it on their fridge or, their desk, and just always have a reminder that they helped out with Thomas House. And so ultimately, this chart aims to engage donors in an interactive yet fun way, while helping Thomas House with a system to track donors. And next, Christina will talk about our future plan.
Okay, so for the donation chart we were talking about earlier, this is mainly used for large donations such as grants. And one way we were going to do this will be, in real life, it'll be a 5-foot size. This is just a small version of it. And to get the children participate, we were going to have children color in bricks that were going to be the background, basically the foundation of the donation chart. Since they are, they're staying there, the foundation of the Thomas Shelter. And then as we got donations or received grants, they can fill out their information and we'll place the different parts of the house onto the chart to show they're making a house a home. So as they donate, as they're contributing, they're completing this home for these families. So that was the concept we had for the donation chart.
And I'll go ahead and talk about the evaluation and our overall experience for this campaign. We did, as a team, we had many successes and felt like we could utilize our talent and creativity to the best as we could for the Thomas House Temporary Shelter. We were able to give them concepts and provide materials and guidance to utilize and execute their final diagrams and invitations and event. We were also able to put together a couple ideas for future events, so if they weren't going to incorporate these certain ideas into this event, they would be able to kind of keep it on back order and go ahead and use it for future presentations. And then most importantly, it's just building the relationship. This was our first time the Practical Advantage has ever worked with Thomas House Temporary Shelter. We hope it's not the last. And we were able to grow and form hopefully a everlasting partnership for the agency and the Thomas House and for their future events and anything else we can help them with. And then